What's going on, YouTube fam? It's your boy Tony 2 times, and we back with another episode of Hood Tales, man. Before I start, be sure to tap that like button. It's free. It helps get the video out there. Definitely watch this video to the end so you can hear the full story and all the details in this case. Everything in this video is alleged. For my day one fam, y'all already know it's all love. Thanks for tuning back into another episode. If you're new to the channel and you're feeling the content, feel free to subscribe. Definitely hit that notification bell so you can be notified every time we drop a new video. Oh yeah, feel free to share the channel with your peoples. Everybody is welcome. With that being said, let's get right into the story. As parents, most of us want nothing but the best for our kids. While raising them, showing them love, understanding, and patience, we try to teach them life lessons. If they make a mistake, which they will, you let them know the consequences of their actions, why they shouldn't have did what they did, and how certain things could play out. You can only hope and pray they are picking up the game and guidance you are putting down. We spend years trying to raise them right, teach them life lessons in hopes they will go out into the world, make us proud, and become a productive and successful young man or woman. Even if it don't go like that, and they have a few roadblocks and hiccups during their journey, we will understand, because the love is unconditional. You can do everything right as a parent, but when kids turn into adults, now it's all on them. They can know better, but that doesn't always mean they will do better. For a lot of parents, they hope they have took care of their kids and showed them enough love that if they start to get up in age and they ever need them, they will take care of you and do the same. But in some situations, life experiences can turn the person you call your child into a complete stranger. They start doing things you don't recognize no more. And letting a stranger into your home can be fatal. And on this episode of Hood Tales, we'll be taking it to Atlanta, Georgia, to discuss the case of a man who took his mother and her boyfriend's life and lived with their bodies. Back in 2025, 59-year-old Miss Henrietta Russell was living life in Atlanta. Originally from Alabama, she had relocated years prior. Described as a sweet woman who loved people, but more importantly, she loved her family. She had one child, a son in his 40s, named Neil Russell. Neil had some hardships. He was a father himself, trying to take care of his kids, but had fell on hard times and was dealing with substance abuse to the point he was in and out of treatment facilities, trying to get it right. Miss Henrietta loved her son no matter what though, and her grandkids. Over the years, she had some health issues herself and would end up in a wheelchair, but that didn't stop her personality and attitude about life. She was even in a committed relationship with 75-year-old Mr. Marvin Spencer Sr. The father of 3 with 14 grandkids, Marvin was the patriarch of his family. Described as a strong man with family values and old school principles and morals, but he was also loving and caring. Him and Miss Henrietta had been together for years and lived together in the Oglethorpe Place apartments in Atlanta. Life was going good for the couple, but up in age, Mr. Marvin couldn't always help Miss Henrietta with certain tasks around the house, and being that she was in a wheelchair, it made it hard. So when Neil came back out of rehab, they allowed him to move into the home to help out. The agreement was he stayed clean and he could try to get on his feet. At first, it seemed life had came full circle and Miss Henrietta's son was taking care of her and being responsible. But on March 7th, 2025, Mr. Marvin's 76th birthday, his daughter had called her father to speak to him and wish him a happy birthday, but his phone went straight to voicemail. She then called Miss Henrietta when a man she never met or heard about picked up the phone. It was her son Neil. He had some weird answers on where the couple were at. So Mr. Marvin's daughter went to the apartment complex, but nobody opened the door. She then called police to do a welfare check. The following day, on March 8th, they went to the apartment and quickly realized the door had been barricaded, but someone was inside. After a few hours trying to convince the man, now identified as Neil, to open up and talk to police, they decided to break it down. Inside was a scene from a horror movie. First and foremost, Neil was holding a woman he had met that same day at the MARTA station at knife point. Once police tackled the man and got him down, they was able to release the hostage and noticed a smell and a sheet separating the room and the apartment. Inside was the bodies of Miss Henrietta and Mr. Marvin. They were barely recognizable, and it seemed they had been there for a minute. Neil yelled out, "I'm sorry, I'm sorry." Now a crime scene, the coroner claimed it seemed the older couple had been gone for weeks, and Neil still somehow lived with them after the fact in the house. They determined Mr. Marvin was stabbed multiple times, and Miss Henrietta's cause of passing was strangulation. Neil was taken into custody, charged with 2 counts of first-degree hit and other charges in reference to holding a woman at knife point. It was determined that when his mother check came on the 3rd, he withdrew all the money. Neighbors were in shock, but Mr. Marvin's daughter couldn't understand. She asked questions like, how did nobody in the neighborhood know something was wrong, especially with the smell? She wanted answers. Why would Neil do that to her father and his own mother? But there was no motive. Some speculated Neil had relapsed and simply took their lives so he could steal money to get high. As the case made its way to trial, no real motive came out, other than the fact Neil had withdrew his mother's SSI money just minutes after it had been deposited. It was speculated he took Miss Henrietta's and Mr. Marvin's life weeks prior, and if it wasn't for his daughter, he would have lived with them still in the house as long as possible. In the end, Neil was found guilty on all counts, and he was sentenced to 2 consecutive life sentences plus 25 years in prison. He will not be eligible for parole until he serves at least 60 years. Rest in peace to Miss Henrietta and Mr. Marvin. I send my prayers and condolences to both of their families. Your own mother, that's beyond my comprehension. After they let you in their home, was giving you a chance to get on your feet, that's an evil way to repay them. Then to live with the bodies after the fact, that's a different level of throw it off. I don't know what was up with Neil. If his addiction was that bad that he would do this for a few dollars, I hate to say it, but maybe it wasn't no hope for him in the streets, and prison is his best bet. But I want to know y'all thoughts on this situation, fam. Let me know in the comments. And remember, we gotta succeed, not to fail, so we won't be just another hood tale. Yeah, man, this is a terrible story. I don't know what was up with bro. I don't know where his mind was at. But like I said, that's a different kind of crazy to sit there with them after the fact in the house. And then to have company over and all that, he definitely was geeking. But y'all leave it in the comments. I appreciate you if you made it to the end. Y'all already know it's all love, fam. This is another episode of Hood Tales. This your boy Tony 2 times. I'm out.